So I am renowned for forgetting the thank yous, right? So I'm going to start with the thank yous, so we don't have a problem with that, because everybody goes, you forgot to say a thank you. So first of all, right, you'll meet Ken over the course of the day. Ken runs this wonderful club here in Portishead, and they've allowed us to come here and hold this Airability event. It's one of the best clubs on the circuit, and it's got flat out the best disabled toilet. You know what I mean? It's like if it had a 5-star rate, it would be a good 4.5. You know what I mean? Right? And thanks, Ken. Then you know the guys, H&N. They backed me all the way. They've helped me for a good few years now. They've donated about £18,000 to give away over the weekend. So everybody's going to get a tin, and winners are going to get sleeves and stuff like that, which is lovely. We've got the new kid on the block, Falcon over there. That's Nick from Falcon.
Why am I the new kid?
You are the new kid. You are the new kid on the block. And you know, he's got some of his scopes there to have a look at. And he kindly donated that custom red scope on the rifle over there that we're going to be giving away. So you know, that's you know, just fantastic. And the rifle it's attached to is being donated by Ratworks. We've all heard of Ratworks. I was down having lunch with them yesterday. Great guys. The only problem with that rifle is I made the stock for it. So I'm sorry, but it is Fenchurch compliant. And if whoever wins that rifle, there's a whole load of videos of mine about it. I love it, and I hope I win it. Then we've got Crackshot. You know, Crackshot again, supporters of the sport. They support Tom. They've donated a £100 voucher to the winner of the singles event tomorrow. You know what I mean? All he said to me is, don't let them spend it 30 pence at a time. And so please try and use it wisely, whoever wins. Now, we've been doing this is our 4th year. And 2 years ago, we had a gentleman called Neil Caddick. He won the rookie event. He turned out to be rather good. He's beaten me a few times. I'm not happy. And he runs a company called Hoods and Stuff. And every year, he supplies the t-shirts. Right? So he's given back to the sport. And we love him dearly. And Airgun World, we all know the magazine. There are subscriptions there for some of the winners. So I think this is our biggest giveaway to date. And you know, long may it continue, and long may you enjoy the stuff. You know what I mean? So there's always one boot camp as bother, isn't there? You know what I mean? Right. So I do apologise about this. We're going to have to play a little game. I'm going to separate you into teams, and I'm going to try and make the teams as fair as possible with a mix of experience. Yep. So it's going to be like when we used to play rounders as kids. You know what I mean? There is going to be somebody who's going to be picked last, and I apologise for that. Alright? So, is it, and I know, because I go on the internet, so no cheating, and I'll call you out if you cheat. Is there anybody who has never been to a bench rest competition of any type with wind flags? Oh, there's debate over there. Right. So can you all stand up and come over? And how many of there is there?
Sit down.
Sit down.
What, you want me to sit down? Sit down. Alright, fine.
Wow, we've got quite a few who haven't. So can you split yourselves into 2 teams of people who've never attended an event before? So split into 2 lots. We need 10 in each team, and what I would like is, if you come with, and I'm going to be a family member, could we, or a best friend, could we split up so we have an experience shooting with other people? Is that alright? Is that alright? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Right, and are you sharing kit as well? Yeah. Is anybody else sharing kit? If you've got somebody sharing kit, make sure you're on the opposite team of the person you're sharing kit with. Right? So, can everybody split up and integrate so we have two piles of 10 and you're not with your mates? We've got three of the 2 guys here. So we've got Tommy who's filming. You know, Tom is the current #1 unlimited guy. He's last year's British champion. you know, Drat, he was last year's British champion. Anyway, didn't beat him, but he's going to lead one team. So do you want to lead this team, Tom?
Yeah, sure.
Right, and that's Team Crackshot, because he's sponsored by Crackshot. And then this side, I can only apologise, you get Graham Freeman. He's a former world champion, you know what I mean, so he does know his stuff. So,
I'll have this coat.
we're all gonna, I just want to talk about this a little bit. We're all going to get a safety flag of a different colour, so you know which team you're on. There's a gold team and an orange team, yeah? Now, this little thing here, right, it's just something I came up with, and it's a bit of daft, so don't get too excited, right? You're going to be doing a session on how to mark your cards, and we use a probe to mark our cards. So I've made a little 3D printed probe there, so you can use that to mark your cards. It's not legal, right? It's 3D printed, so don't take it to your club and play God with other people's targets. It's nowhere near official, but it'll give you enough without. Yeah, that's the official ones there, the metal ones. So we're going to use that a little later. Now there are 2 holes on these key rings, yeah? And these key rings, this big hole shows if you manage to get every pellet through that big hole at the end of the range, it would represent a 250 target, right? So that's quite aspirational to get every pellet through there when you talk about, you know, and when you get them, just feel how small it is. And then this little hole above is when people, you must hear people talking about the 250 25x, yeah, where they get perfect card. You'd have to get everyone through that hole, right? And it's just not going to happen in the wind, right? And what I will say is, people who shot indoors and went out shooting outdoors, it's about beating your opponent on the day in a side-by-side competition. Scores are pretty much irrelevant. It's just about getting more points than the other person, because every time you come out, the conditions are different, and you can't say what you're going to shoot. So just shoot the best you can, and don't be disappointed, even if you're shooting a lot less than you've shot in the club. Everybody does, you know what I mean? Right, so there should be 10 there. Can you guys have one of them? By the range officer, right? Flat out, right? You know, we're going to be running this event exactly the same as we would at one of our tournaments. So when you go to shoot your targets, you take your gun, you keep it cased, and only when you're invited to put it on the desk, you do so.
Matt, we'll show everybody on the first time they're down there what the routine.
And I'm also going to show you in the setting up session here as well. So, but I'm just saying in case anybody gets a bit previous and gets them out, you might get shouted at, right? So keep them in the cases. What we doing about filling guns?
Fill them at the bench. They're still pointing down range, safest way.
As long as they don't go front of the firing line.
Right. So ask the range officer to fill your gun. You know, about filling your gun in between details.
Pretty much
But
downstairs.
to be honest, it's all about just listen to the range officer. When you're on the range, you just got to accept your gun, and you don't.
We'll see how it goes.
There's just no back.
Change it as
It's all
the day
about
goes on.
safety. You know what I mean? Right. So we're going to split into 2 groups, and
Toss a coin. See which one me and Tom get.
we've already split. Yeah.
You've got that group over there. I've got this group here.
You've got them raggers there.
I feel sorry for you lot.
No mercy, guys.
That's all right. You guys can have the flags. Nobody else is having them.
And just a quick thing, when you go out, you'll see every flag's the same. Tom's made all those flags, so everybody gets the same experience out there, right? And those flags are set out the same distance that I shoot, so when I'm teaching you how to use the wind flags, you can go out and use them at the same distance. So we're trying to keep everything like tied in and relevant. So, will the, and just one final thing, we're going to do shoot a target, then you're going to come back and have a bar and a half hour listen to me, then you're going to go and shoot another target, and we'll rotate. So 10 people in the here and 10 people on the range. And tomorrow we all shoot. Yeah. And we're going to have a helpless competition as well. Yeah, it's all about beating.
Helpers or helpless?
So, okay guys. The orange team, do you want to go downstairs and start getting your gear? And remember, it's going to be quite relentless today, like a real competition on and off the range. Tom and I were in competition once, we both went. We went straight up the targets and we went short, didn't we, Tom?
We could tell before we even measured it properly.
Nobody else was really parallax and you're all slightly blurred. That's what we shoot for 25 yards for 25 metres. So, you know, with parallax, every time, make sure you pin sharp to the best possible outcome. And like I said, only raise your hand when you are absolutely ready. So we shoot, and make sure when you're shooting, you know, I can't turn around and put Tom off. I can't even look at it. You should be, you can't look behind you at any stage while you're shooting. So when you're shooting, the furthest you can look back, basically, is 90 degrees from the gun, or forward, or you get done for distraction or looking for coaching, especially in top competitions. So make sure you're not looking around. When you finish, don't do this.
Oh, I think they'll get eaten. Yeah, I think they'll still eaten. How many have we got? I was going to say, I can't use the fit each one's cake books then, because I was stuck them in there. I expect Richard will have a couple when he comes.
Add it to his thank you list, good engineering.
Oh, weird.
See how far it drops down. So if you take your first shot, yeah, when you're ready, first shot, because it's slightly blown to the right. So if you go slightly, no, sorry, I want you to now look for that same wind pattern on that first flag. Okay, but this time, wherever your pellet ended up from the bullseye, the opposite side to the point of impact. The opposite side to the point of impact, that's correct. And you should find it a lot closer to the bullseye this time.
Okay. So we are now in the last minute. So is anybody not basically done? Richard's still going. Richard's in time trouble, he's now panicking. Alfie's thinking he'll lend you out his spare 10 minutes. Sitting there thinking, how could you be so slow? Plugs in to show us you're safe.
Well, it's I've just got the rest. It's a little bit sticky in the front, but yeah.
Okay, and then they'll check it's safe and they'll say bag it up. So you're good to bag it up. You're okay, you can bag it up.
When the wind's coming towards you, so say you've worked out your clock face, but the wind's going away from you. The wind's, you know, by reading the wind video numbers on here, like say, look at that. So we're going to talk about what we get from each flag now. Why do we have 3 or 4 flags? So we're talking about the middle flag. When there's no wind, or perceived to be no wind, I pretty much go 100% off that, right? But that rarely happens. So we have to with 3 different increments here. And we don't read all the flags with the same value, right? So the first flag here, because any wind at this point, as it touches the pellet, there's more distance for the pellet to travel, so it's going to push it more off its straight trajectory. Are you with us, right? So if say you calculate 1 inch of hold off, yeah, 50% of that hold off will be calculated on this flag alone, because it's got more influence, yeah? The middle flag, if this one was going the same way, I'd add another 30% of hold off. So if these flags weren't moving and that one was moving on its own, I would say half an inch. I'm just making a number up. Then if the same wind was repeated on this one but not this one, I'd add like another, 30%. So I'd take 30%. So we're at about what, 0.7 of an inch now. Yeah, no, 0.8 of an inch. Do you know I'm a civil servant and I'm in charge of real big numbers, right? So 0.7 of an inch, right? And then the last one, because it's close to the target, any influence the wind at this point has is going to be really minimal, because it's like a 7 metre hop towards the end. You get what I mean? So this one really, about 20%, but it's more a fact check that the wind's going the other way, they're going the same way, yeah?
It's the same as what I use. I used to use it as a confirmation
Yeah,
thing.
it's more of a confirmation, right? But you've got to learn to shoot using those values, and then you can learn to take shortcuts, right? We're not going to go too far into that because I don't want to confuse. But when we're shooting, we aren't looking at all 4 of the flags all the time. We have confirmation flags, which is just a fraction of a second and it's going the same way. But you've got to learn how to do it longhand before you do it. So, a couple of things, right? In an ideal world, you want all flags reading the same, right? Right. In a second ideal world, you want the 2 closest to you reading the same, because this one is going to have less influence. Yeah. The worst thing you can have are these 2 different and that one different, because you've got 50% here, haven't you? And you've got 50% there, and if they both go in the opposite direction, they never counteract each other exactly. It's a lottery, right? So does everybody understand how I weight the value of the hold-off to the different flags? So the one's closer to you, the wind is going to knock it off further, so you calculate the majority of the hold-off from that one, right? Then there's about 30% on this one, and this is, he says, it's a confirmation or 20% if there's nothing stupid happening. Now, this range is fantastic for it. Is talking to Tom one day, and I asked Tom a very valuable question on the practice day. What do we do when that happens?
And what was the answer?
Again, I can't say in a public forum, but that is the sort of strange stuff that you get. You will look down the line, right? All 3 flags are going to be pointing in different directions, and this one's going to be vertical, right? And what you've got to do there is show patience. Don't rush it, wait for the wind pattern to come round. You've got 20 minutes to shoot your target, right? And in reality, you should be taking about 15 minutes. You find 1 or 2 wind patterns. Wind always comes round, doesn't it, really?
Yeah, I'm keen for waiting until the last second on it.
Yeah. So you look for wind patterns. So while you're setting up, if you can gain any view of the range at any point, look at the wind patterns and see what comes around. And you've got to have the patience and the resilience and the restraint to wait for the wind pattern. So when you usually shoot, I would say a good shooter shoots on 2 wind patterns, 4 shoot up to 5 wind patterns. I start to max out at about 3, because I've got a small brain and 4 wind patterns. And I admit that, but you've got to be patient, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm again 2 or 3 myself, and over time you'll realise that the wind's picked up a little bit more. Just hold that a little bit more, but your general point of aim is always going to be 2 or 3 points, isn't it?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you just sit out there. Does anybody read Guy Martin's book? The most like the monkey on his back. I don't know if you talk about the voice in your head, right? The last thing you want is, it's not much different. The voice in the back of your head goes, it's nearly the same, but it's going to work. Just hold it up a smidge. Once the monkey starts talking to you, hand off that gun. Right.
So you definitely don't compensate a little bit if you think the wind's slightly different. You just really wait for that.
I would. So if the wind pattern has changed and it's not replicating, I will go back to my sighters and practice a new wind pattern. Yeah. If I've got time. That's why I've got 5 minutes. so I can change onto a new wind pattern. But the worst thing you can do is let that monkey tell you it's just the same, man. You know, it's 90% there. You don't really need that end wind flag. Doesn't matter what it's doing. And your brain says all that to you, and you've just got to have the discipline to take your hand off the gun and just go to your sighters. Sometimes when the monkey's really strong, I go to my sighters, I shoot an 8 and I go, I made the right decision. Do you know what I mean?
My trick is I always have a drink on the bench with me at a comp day. If I'm like starting to go, I need to go, I need to shoot. No, just stop and have a sip of your drink, reset yourself, even shoot it off in the sighter and reset your whole shooting routine again.
So you know, I said to my daughter, I had the access to those Olympic coaches when you're on the pathway, and they all said that the greatest gift is know when not to shoot. You know when not to pull the trigger. You know, 10 metre people are holding that gun up, aren't they? Hold the guns up. You know, their monkey on their back says, it's only another 2 seconds you can hold it up, you're not tired. You don't mean things like that. And once the self-talk starts, you've got to reset. Because I could honestly say, any disasters I've had have pretty much come from self-talk. Now, another thing as well, and I said this at the beginning, when you're shooting in the wind, it's not about scores. It's about getting one more point than him, right? And that's all it's about. There's no bragging rights. It's survival rights. It's about surviving better than the person. We were in Cornwall last week. It was horrible, wasn't it, Richard? Cornwall, it was horrible.
Yes.
Yes.
It was very.
And it was horrible. And we were it was raining, but we had the greatest of times. And I shot my lowest ever competition card, right? But in relation to other people, I came second in the overall aggregate over the weekend, and that's what it's about. You know what I mean? And it's hard. And don't go home disappointed that you shot like 2-3-4 or a 2-2-1. I shot 2-2-1. You know what I mean?
220.
Huh?
Shot 220.
Did you?
Yeah.
Loser.
Still beat you in the aggregate, but we won't go there.
My dad's bigger than me. But it's about surviving out there. And the other thing is I always say to people, look to the left of you, look to the right of you, and nobody's having a good time. Nobody's having it easy. That's why it's a sport. You know what I mean? And you push right to the end, like I said earlier, you push right and past the end, because I can't tell you how many times I've lost and won on the last card or on the last shot. You know. So, getting back to this. Other things you need to pick up on. Your wind flags are as personal to you as your gun, right? All ribbons act differently. All, you know, we have bearings in these out of radio controlled cars to make them spin and things. But your wind flags are as personal as your gun is to you. And don't think, you know, when I say no shortcuts, don't just go, I'll leave my mate's wind flags up and I'll have a shoot. You put your own on. You know what I mean? You only ever got to, you know, learn the wind if you've got a consistent set of wind flags. Be very brittle if you can. Have some spare ribbons. You know what I mean? I don't break them off. I think I've had one failure, but I always have a spare head. You know what I mean? I have lots of these ribbons. I broke that today. That's meant to be twice as long, and I couldn't be bothered to put another one on. And don't be, you know, we balance these wind flags from front to back. This is why this nut here, you can slide it from front to back to balance them. We all have our own magic. You'll probably disagree with me, but I put the weight very slightly towards the back.
I do the same.
Do you do the same? Very slightly towards the back. And there's all little tricks. You've got to tune them the same. But I will reiterate: get your own wind flags and make sure you keep them, and you only use your own wind flags, because aren't really.
I can. If I used yours, I wouldn't have a clue.
Well, I was telling them about. Were you here when I was telling about? I was pretty much the first one with a light wind indicator.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I had like 2 or 3 tournaments where I was like kicking it, wasn't I? And then all got, but your switch feather looks stupid. it really I look like some sort of like burlesque dancer. You know what I mean? Pulling ostrich feathers out of my face.
I think that's what it was. You were putting everybody off handling them.
Sorry? Oh, there's always one, isn't there? But anyway, I said, let's, we must have some wind questions about shooting in the wind. I'm not a proctologist.
I got the importance of the flags back to front, but I was concentrating more on the flag further away. But apart from the problems of the wind, I think the biggest issue I had was I had no concept of how far into the 20 minutes I was. You said we're not allowed.
The only electronic thing you're allowed is a timer.
Right.
A muted one. Muted one.
A muted one.
Yeah.
If you can't afford a muted one, I don't know if I said it to this group or that group. There's a little grill on the back where the sound comes out. Squirt super glue in there. Bucket load of super glue in there. Freeze the speaker.
Or put your timer to 21 minutes.
Yeah. You'll get disqualified if the timer goes off.
Yeah.
Or you start stopping your timer and it starts beeping. And if you look, if you look on Amazon, there are muted timers anyway. Ours are muted. So, but yeah. But this wind flag's the one you really want to be focused on. That's half your hold on. You know what I mean? Yeah. Sorry?
I was saying I was doing the same thing. I've been looking at the closer to the target. But when I switched to concentrating on the front one, it did improve things quite noticeably.
So can you remember we talked about setup now? I said we put the tape down, and I've got the markers on the tape. Yeah. I also use the tip. I put them out angled like this, so I could see all the wind flags. Do you get what I mean? I'm left-handed, so I can see all the wind flags. You don't want them directly behind each other, otherwise, you can't get
The tape measure idea sounded quite daft, but when we started doing it, it was really up to the points and the consistency, didn't it?
Again, we were the first. So,
would you ever switch that round if there was something impacting the wind? So there was something creating a tunnel further up and that was causing more variation than it switch?
The passion wagon. So we have a couple of shooters come with a mobile home, right? And so they park their passion wagon right on the corner down here. And that absolutely funnels the wind.
It makes the first two lanes almost unreadable because it's so turbulent coming off of it.
So yeah, you're right. And again, it's the adapt the wind bit. Trying to find a workaround. The quicker you find that workaround, you're beating people who are shooting on that end of the range with you, aren't you? You know, don't go crazy with your workarounds, but
It's where practice day comes in being like so essential. Like you put your flags where you normally would at any range and just start tweaking a bit here, there, and okay, now if I move it here, it's picking up a bit more, reacting more, and maybe missing the turbulence that we were on about. And
yeah. Or wait till the wind comes from the other side. Don't shoot on a wind that's rolling over the passion wagon. You know what I mean? It's I don't think there's much passion goes on in that.
Is it more technical?
What did he say? Don't come a knocking when it's a
Caravan's
rocking. But yeah, joking aside, it's about picking your cleanest wind pattern. And it's not always the wind pattern with the least velocity. You know, I'm happy shooting outside of the blue ring on the target and bending them in if it's a known wind. You know what I mean?
I found that more consistent out there.
Yeah.
When it was a really strong wind, it was just a really straight hold off to the right.
Yeah.
But as soon as it was a bit lighter, it seemed to go up and downwind as well.
So it's exactly what I'm describing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I always say you need a bit of wind to stabilise things, and you need to be a break. It sounds daft, right? There are two shooters do well when there's no wind. The lucky shooter and the advanced shooter, isn't it? You know what I mean? We're not looking at anybody.
I've never had much success in light wind. The light wind is just it's too much margin for error because you got to think of it. If you're aiming dead centre, our flags, as reactive as they are, if there is a gust, they will not pick it up quick enough. You're better off shooting with something like we're saying, a smidge of left, smidge of right to stabilise it.
shoot, lean into it. Lean into it. Are there any more questions?
Good question. I mean, it's maybe not one for the shooting, but why does a crosswind from the left push the pellet down?
Alright, smarty pants, here we go, the advanced class, right? We all know that the gun barrel's rifled, yes? And it spins the pellet. And so, I will say this is less than long range shooters shooting, and it's also slightly different. You must have seen those graphs where you've got the crosshair with where the wind influences the pellet, where it's going to land. I'm not a great fan of them because it doesn't give you it doesn't quantify the distance it's going to shoot off, whereas my graph, it shows you where to aim if you do it. But what it does do, so basically in essence, the pellet's spinning like this, yeah? I'm just working it out, I'll just carry on spinning a bit, right? So the wind comes from this side, yeah? And it climbs up the wind. You've got to think about the outside edge of that pellet is climbing up the wind. You get what I mean? So it's still going that way, the wind comes from this way, the wind hits it, and it's pushing it down like that. So what I find with air rifles is you can see on mine here, when I've mapped mine out, I have to shoot higher one side, yeah. But what I find is, you know the side where it would be pushing the pellet down, it just kind of stays level. So I find it's not actually climbing in the wind, it's just not dropping as fast because it's catching it, hooking into the wind. But I find with my air rifle, it stays pretty level with the wind the other side. And that's why you map it out. You know what I mean? So this is all like absolutely burned in there, yeah. And I do it on the fly now. But it's so liberating to understand that even just left to right winds adjust the vertical trajectory. So then you do the left to right, up and down, front to back, pat your head, add 3, don't listen to the monkey and pull the trigger. And you're alright every time, aren't you?
Would you always hold off for a second wind if you could? So would you rather shoot the right to left because that's more flat than the left to right?
I just don't care as long as it's repeatable.
Yeah, you're looking for more consistent speed than anything. I've shot with it blowing like hell, and you're literally aiming off the edge of the target.
Yeah.
But it's so consistent where it was going on the target. And again, if it drops down to light, it was going all over the place, up, down, left, right. There was no reading to it.
But yeah,
How much of a impact does pellet speed have on it?
not as much as you think. So I'm shooting, you know, I shoot something around about 11, a bit under £12.
Yeah.
And I'm shooting with a really, like a 9.5 pellet. I would say not a lot, but it does. But it's not about how much, it's about consistency. When you learn your hold-ons with that pellet, and you're confident to know how much to hold on, it's fine. I don't know if does anybody play snooker and pool there, right? You know the concept of putting side on, it pushes the object ball out, right? And you get cues that have this low deflection and all this stuff, right? It's rubbish, right? You just learn the deflection on the cue you've got. You learn the hold off on the rifle you've got. It's about repeatability is the key.
I know you have a bonus of the H&M, but do you find that a particular weight shoots better? I'm going back to, I used to do field archery a few decades ago, and I would find a very heavy aluminium arrow would fly more consistently through a heavy wind.
I prefer more weight in the wind.
So, do you find you have a difference in pellets for indoors and outdoors?
I don't change outdoors.
Right, but if it works outdoors, it will work indoors.
No. Right, it's like pole vault and long jump. You're in the air, that's the only similarity.
Right.
It's a different sport. It really genuinely is. Indoor is a different sport. You shoot a different, really indoor, you want to be light as you can, fast as you can, get it there, you know what I mean, as accurate as you can. This is about having a consistent hold off in the same condition, and I find a heavy pellet, you know what I mean?
Issue with the lighter one, you just got that much more room for it to move around, and that obviously as well, it spins a lot faster because it is going faster through the barrel. It will grab the wind harder. It will move more.
But it's quite a problem for a certain kind of thing, stuff that you shoot what works.
Yeah.
Flat out. Like H has ever said to me, we understand when you start getting results with our pellets, you got. You know what I mean? You're really honest about that. And why would you shoot something that doesn't work for you? You know what I mean? You really got to put the work in and find out what's right for you. I like them and I tell everybody I like them, but I wouldn't tell you to shoot them, I'd tell you to try them. That's the difference. You know what I mean? So you're all ready for the storm then in a minute? It's easy. It's flat out easy. Isn't it?
What about storage of flags when you're not shooting?
Yeah, we've talked about that. I'll get them over. You know, when you put your flags away, get them right over to the far side of the range. The side of the range that you're going to shoot at next, so you'd have to walk less to get them.
Is a big incentive as well, get them out of the way as much as possible, because whoever's on the outer lanes can use your flags as a guidance. Oh, the wind's just about to come this way, I'll use that. Don't give anybody else an advantage, you're against them.
That's
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, in a t-shirt and need to wear a puffer jacket, you know, it changes the whole dynamic between you and your gun. So really it's absolutely practice as you compete. You use the same wind flags, the same pattern, the same ammunition. You prepare the ammunition the same way, you know what I mean? If you want, it's going to sound wrong, if you want a fun sport, bench-rest, isn't it? It's an exact sport and you've got to be exact. You know, and I think you realise that, don't you, now? The devil really, really is in the detail. And also, time your cards. Make sure you shoot your cards within regulation time. I don't see any point in taking half an hour over a card when you shoot 20 minutes in a competition. You know what I mean? I really, really believe in that. You know, but it's about actually. You have to be so disciplined, like I say, it's about there's no shortcuts, it's so easy, you know what I mean, and I drift off, I do, and I have to remind myself, you know, I'm just quite happy throwing lead down the stairs, and I have to ask myself, what am I achieving here, what have I learned today, you know what I mean, and I'm so much of a geek now at the moment, you know, somebody got me a weather station for that. So I'm now looking at the wind, the humidity, how that's, you know, doing how the rifle. After a few years, I've got myself a new Apple Watch and I look at it, does my heart rate go up, down, and you know what I mean, what sort of stuff. So you can actually go to an absolutely immense level of detail. You don't have to, it's just about really getting into the fact of replicating your training in a way that is representative of the competition.
I have one orange shirt missing. It's got AWOL.
Who's missing?
One orange shirt missing.
There's not an orange shooter.
Me? Hey, that's it at the enemy.
There's a spy in the camp.
That means we've got some missing.
You're so mesmerising, you forgot he was
That means there's two missing from this group somewhere.
It's the best bit as well.
There's more around the corner.
So, but And another thing that I hate, and I'm on to Sharon about this, is when you go to the ranges, your mates talk to you. I know they're only being nice, but talking to your mates isn't practice, that's socialising.
Yeah.
You know, it's a sad thing, but it is, and you know, you can, you know, I know people go and get one card done, you know what I mean? So sometimes I go to the gun club and I don't take a gun because I want to see my mate. You know, you've got to try and separate the two. And I'll be honest with you, that's why I love the chef. You know, you're just sitting there. You know, I'm a very lucky lad. So, there's a few things I just wanted to touch on as well. You know, so the message from this, practice with a purpose and as near it how you complete as possible. You know what I mean? But there's a few little videos that I've done which I think are boring but a good watch, right? There's one about how to hold a bench press gun. It's about having as least influence over the gun as possible with your body. If you don't have any problems like I have, you should be that should be the only contact that you have with your gun. You thumb on the back of the pinch post and on the trigger. Get your cheek rest up and get everything. And the only motion comes from this. So there's a video on that. There's also a video about trigger choice, right? And that's drastically important. And the reason why that is, there's a few people who've got a few HFT 500s, yeah? Right? Now this is my opinion, don't lynch me, right? But it's like a goldfish ball, that trigger ball thing on the end.
Oh, no, mine's beautiful. I just can't do it, did it?
Do you have the original one?
I don't think it is. I think it's Ratworks and then it was polished.
Right, so they're quite big if anybody's got one, yeah? And you can't get that feel that I talk about, you know, that 99%. Do you know what I mean? So you need to look at the trigger that suits you. So there are pointed triggers which are basically just like a couple of millimeters square with some spikes on it. That's the type of trigger that I use, very trigger point, very small. There are bigger ones like that, but you need to find yourself a trigger that your hand's sensitive enough to know when you're at that 99%. And yeah, I don't like that. The HFT 500 trigger, and I don't like the original Anschutz trigger either because that's too wide. It's like pressing on the floor. You know, you don't get that. So have a look at that video about trigger control and choose the trigger. There's a lot about, you know, mech and things like that. So I think what we're going to do is today we're gonna pretty much, you guys have got, how many cards have you shot? Three? You've got one more card, and I think what we'll do is we'll all sit down after you've shot your card and we'll have any final questions for the day. And then tomorrow I'm going to talk about like my mental approach to a competition day, preparation, about how to get the most out of it, how to relieve the pressure on yourself in between relays, you know, basically, you know, I go shooting and then laugh at Tom and it keeps me home.
Well, can you give us that now before the competition tomorrow and leave theirs for tomorrow?
Nah, it didn't work like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to get everybody in the room together before the competition. We're going to talk about how we go about competitions, and then there are quite a few little hacks that make the day more enjoyable, that make things easy for you. And I think you've learned it today, you know what I mean? I heard Louis say a fantastic one. He said, as soon as you get off the range, fill your gun. You know, please do that. You don't want to be running around. You don't have to heart pump in 2 minutes before you're on the range that you haven't filled your gun. Make yourself absolutely, you know, we'll go through all this tomorrow. We'll talk about competition nerves and things like that. And you have to remember it's about enjoying it, isn't it? It really is. Have we got any questions so far about the days of all? I was just looking at was everybody shooting Lily's guns? I think Lily's got about 9 guns.
He's got 3 with him.
There you go, mate. Well, yeah, so he's not an addict, by the way. Louis not an addict. I think he bought another 2 at the weekend.
Probably, and I keep seeing new ones there.
I've only got
Buying guns.
Oh, one. And a springer.
How many you bought this week?
2.
I've got 2 with me, but I've got another 4 at home.
Yeah, but to be fair, I lost 2, so.
Have you got any tips
Oh, anyone
on
else?
how to pick up the pellets? Because I keep picking
Oh,
them up.
do it there,
the
I'll
wrong way around.
Yeah.
Nice
So,
suggestion.
pellets are a royal, can be a royal pain.
Are you
And
going to
also,
tell us about your pellet load is?
no, I won't. So, never gonna happen.
It bleeds the glands of.
So I'll tell you what, it's a bit with it. It's just standard, you know, the name of your pellet lube.
Yeah, yeah.
But I put some.
I don't know what it is. He ain't gonna tell you.
I find it a little bit sticky, so I put another lubricant in this to
KY.
thin it,
WD-40.
to thin it down. But you have
He
to-
says KY, and you look at your missus.
So anyway, shocking. So you have to remember, you have to really be careful when you mix the lubricants through for a gun that you don't get a thing called diesel, and that's essentially an explosion in the barrel, like a petrol engine. So you make sure you basically use synthetic lubricants that won't diesel. So you answer your question, I get trays like this, and when I've prepared my pellets, I put them in, and as you can see there's a little bit of rum around, and you can get them out.
There's another thing with competition, like if you can save a second or two every time you pick the pellet up, you picking up 40 pellets or something, save yourself a minute.
Yeah, I found I was fumbling and it was taking I'm wasting time.
Yeah.
So what does your prep entail? I mean, okay, don't tell me what's in the lube, but I mean, you weigh and sort by group, I suppose, by weight, so you're all within a couple of percent.
Do you?
I'm just asking, what do you?
He
That's
won't
what
tell
it
you
is,
that
do.
part either, so you won't stress.
That's great then. I'm pleased you're enjoying it. Well, what I do is, I'll give you this, is you get all sorts of people with magic how to lube pellets, yeah? And the one I hate is people get a little sandwich bag.
Well, you nearly had a rant at me when I asked you about that.
Did I?
Yes.
There are some things that trigger it.
Oh.
Right. And you get a little sandwich bag, you put like lube in, and you put the pellet in, smash the pellets up, it's always going to help, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, they say a gently roll, but you essentially grind them against each other. And then what people don't realise is if you put too much lube in, you fill the cavity at the back of the pellet with lube, that spoils the weight distribution, the balance, it just destroys the pellets. So how I do it is, a nice mate of mine made me this little clamshell thing, and I love it dearly. And I put the felt out the top of a tin in, and I put a very small amount of lube on, and I crush it up like that so it's evenly spread throughout the form. And less is more.
How many drops?
That's for me to know. And it's more sprays though, isn't it? It's an atomizer in this one. So,
I thought that was your aftershave.
my sticker came off. I used to have a one saying unicorn on it, but
Just the unicorn tears.
yeah. But you just roll it on again. You want just enough on so your fingers can barely glisten. And less is more. And for me, it's yes, you lubricate the pellet, but you're also cleaning it. You know when you're rolling it on the sponge. And when I get rid of these things, these blacks, you wouldn't believe how much like lead dust there is on them. So that's what I do. And also, I'm putting them off the sponge directly into the barrel, so they lubricated at the time. The lubrication hasn't worn off, rubbed off. You know what I mean? It's not in your tin, it's not in your plastic bag, or whatever.
Is it fair to say that some barrels don't like lube?
Well, yeah, you've hit the big thing. Some barrels don't like sizing, don't like lube, don't like pellets, don't like anything. What you've got to do is, I've got 3 videos on pellet testing. You've got to go through the whole shebang. So what I tend to do is I find a pellet that the gun likes, then I take it through pellet sizing to see if that improves it. Then I take it through lube, no lube, and then I'll go back again and I'll do it with the original size with lube. You know what I mean? Do all the combinations Do you know what I mean? And the other, do you want to know the other question that triggers me? If I've got a 450 barrel, do I need a 452 pellet? It's irrelevant. Because all the companies, the pellets are just relatively different sizes. They might have a number on the pot. So a company produces 3 sizes of pellets. I'll look into the small, medium and large. That's how I do it. And then I'll try all the sizes and all the variants of the sizes and everything like that. So there's no like mathematical equation where this will get you that with a barrel, ever. You've just got to try. The pellets have so much variance in them, you're never going to, you know what I mean? Pellet test, there's no substitute for pellet test. You can get lucky, don't get me wrong, you can get one that works, but I've never really been that lucky. But yeah.
And then knowing how many to buy at a time.
Sorry?
And knowing how many to buy at a time when you do find a pellet that kind of works for you. You run out of batches, and then you can't get the same one again.
Well, so I think I said in my video, when you get your pellets together, you know, the test. If you know the gun shop well, you say, can you put me a couple of tubes away, I'll test these, I'll be back for them. Because the last thing you want to test is, don't test anything that there isn't anymore, because that'll break your heart. Because that one tin you test where there's no more will be the best tin. Yeah, but I do find I'm in a lucky position where H&N send me batches and I start testing them and send me pellets for the year. But I will say that it's more in my head thing. The scores haven't really improved from what I was doing on my own. You know what I mean? Right. So you're tired yet, though? Yeah. You're not tired. You haven't worked out enough, but you'll come off from a competition and your eyes will be like that.
I mean, doing the format you're doing today is really nice. So often I'll go down to the range and spend a couple of hours. And I realise I get through probably towards the end of the second hour and I know I'm wasting my time.
Yes, walk away.
And
you don't want to learn bad attitude. You know, you just, and if you can't be bothered to practice with a purpose, you just throw it down. You know.
Yeah, definitely so.
That's another one I practice. You know what I said on the wind flag thing about being able to shoot a volley of 3 or 4 pellets off quite quickly when the wind, you know, so I practice that a lot in the shed. The load and the cracking them out 3 or 4.
Yeah, that's what catches in the kitchen.
Regarding the loading, like placement, it sounds daft, but placement of the pellet tin, if you're using for a tin on the table, if you've got to reach back every time to get them or stretch out, you're just wasting time. You want it literally smooth movement, pick up in. Sounds daft, but we're practicing every little tiny bit of everything we can get.
You know, that's what I think there. You've got to be at home when you stand there.
So I'm shooting with a lad called Bob who came to the Doncaster one that he did with us.
Tango Bob.
Tango Bob.
That's a name and a half, isn't it?
He's a
Tango Bob.
good lad though. What we do?
Does he own like a sunbed company or anything?
No, he went for the Orpington people. That's what he
I
does.
did a video on moderators. So they introduced the thing at the club because there were issues. So we all have to use moderators now. You can't shoot with a stripper. Right. No. So I've got the XTI, so the simplest thing I'll buy the Aeron's Q-Tech mod because I've got one on mine. It's my tip. It's fine. And the gun doesn't mind.
So day 2 of the Airability Bootcamp. So today is competition day. This is where all the rookies get to put in their skills that they learnt yesterday. And us helpers were having a little fun shoot between ourselves as well. Yesterday went really well. Weather was pretty damn windy. It's one of the windiest times we've seen at Portishead. So the rookies to do as well as they did in that wind was really impressive. It's nice to see there's a lot of new young faces as well, and they're really applying themselves to it, really taking everything on board that we're saying. Yeah, we'll just touch back in a bit when we're at Portishead, driving back and forth from home each day this time, close to home. So yeah, we shall check in and show you what's going on today. So we are touched down at Porter's Edge Shooting Club. You can see we have a lot of flags out I put together, so 30 of them. So idea was the rookies or learners didn't have to keep changing flags and stuff when they moved lanes, and wherever they ended up was always going to be the same. A sea of wind flags. Got the lightweight ones here Matt put together, so obviously we're trying to show them that as well, what we're teaching them.
Personal performance, but if you use your own, you know, you go home and you know, and you're the only person who you can't lie to yourself. Have you done your best? You know what I mean? So, don't be upset, you know, set your own goals, do not, you know, put it all on medals and scores. You know what I mean? So, it's a big day, isn't it, right? So a couple of things you need to understand. You can't control everything around you. Believe it or not, right, I know this isn't evidence-based, but you can't control the weather, right? Like yesterday, you can turn up and it can be like that. You can't control, you know, the irritating person you've got next to you on the range who likes to rattle the pellets, right? You know what I mean? You can't control lots of things, yeah? But what you can control is your reaction to those things, and you've got to keep everything low key, because it will come out the end of your barrel. If you're stressed, you're irritated, you're thinking about something, it comes out the end of your barrel. So you've got to kind of like flatline things and think about them tomorrow. You know what I mean, when you get home. You know, and don't think about like why you're on the range, the gas bill and all that lot. You've just got to plod on and try and keep things really low key. Don't come into an event and say, I'm the absolute business. I got a 250 in practice, I deserve this. You deserve nothing, right? You can't control how other people shoot on the day, right? This is getting back to your own goals. Shoot as hard as you can, push all the way, no shortcut, right? Good things happen. If you start anticipating because you deserve this because you've done the work or you've had a good day at the range, right? You're bleeding energy on something. Your concentration needs to be on the day. You know, you just push all the way through. And again, right on the last shot, right? You've got your last card, right? You shot 3 8s. You think you're out the running. Don't lose heart. I can't tell you how many times I've won on the last shot because I've kept it together on a rubbish card, right? We've all done it, right? You know, and you also got to understand, going back to this, you're measuring yourself against your best and the best you can do, because you can't control what other people have done. There's some people on this tour have they've had to shoot for their life this year. We've had more winners than any other year on the tour, because you're having people who are having to shoot for their lives, and you can't control that. And don't be disheartened by that. You're not going to beat a guy on his day, you know what I mean? But you're going to know whether you gave it the best or not, you know what I mean? Control, right? There is some control. Like I said, you've got to let things, you can't control everything, but you can control your equipment, your preparation of your equipment. You can control filling your gun so you're not rushing at the end. You can control knowing how to put your equipment out like the first setting, so you're not stressing yourself. So make sure you have two kind of categories in your head. The stuff you can control and absolutely own it, because it's nobody else's responsibility. Flat out, you're on your own. It's a single person sport. It's not a team sport, right? And the other stuff that doesn't matter or you can't control, you've got to get it out of your head, or it's going to lose points, because how you are feeling, I'm not having it comes out the end of that barrel, whether you like it or not. So you've got to learn. Now, a couple of other things. Concentration, right, and focus. People don't realise, you know, we all believe we have amazing concentration and amazing focus. You can't turn it off. It's a learned skill. It's a honed skill. It's as much as shooting itself. So you've got to learn how to concentrate, right? And my biggest advice is, as soon as that whistle goes, lighten up, right, at the end, right? You can't concentrate all day, you'll burn out, right? And by the time you get to the last count, you don't go around like you're Rocky all day, you know what I mean, right? Eye of the tiger, very serious. you're going to really struggle when you're 6 hours in coming into your last card. So learn to switch it on and off. Jason, here's another one. Don't come to the range with excuses, right? Right? I'm an absolute James Bond fanatic, right? And can you remember when Q said to Bond, you know, don't let them see you bleed? Do you know what I mean, right? Because if I see one of my competitors going, oh dear me, I haven't got that, I'm like, yes. You know, if they start moaning about their equipment or the pellets, it's like somebody giving me adrenaline. You know what I mean? It's like, let's be honest, we strive on other people's downfall. So don't give people the advantage, you know, when you're struggling, right? And I'll be honest with you, sometimes I've been struggling and I've done well. So don't let them see you bleed. That is the biggest one. And you're going to have 3 cards today. It's a game of 3 cards, right? Again, we've all won and lost on the last card, flat out, right? Don't drag your experience from the previous cards onto your next card. If you've done well, you have to put the same effort in again. It doesn't mean you're going to do well in your next card. If you do poorly, it doesn't mean you do, because you're going to learn from the first card, aren't you? Every card is a distinct standalone experience and move on, right? You've got to be like really mentally strong about this, because the worst type of cards are when you're shooting right, you know what I mean? And you come and you think, I'm rolling, and that's the worst thing. You've got to go, it's all crap, the world's against me, the wind's against me, Tom's against me, I've got to work hard. And that's the attitude you've got to come every time. So leave it on the range. When you come to these competitions as well, we're over 2 days, aren't we? We have light rifle and heavy rifle. For good and bad reasons, whatever happens on the first day, leave it there, right? Because it can be completely different on the second day. It's all about just focusing on funnel it right down to the one shot that you're doing at that time. Your whole world has to be on that shot. You know what I mean? And that's, did anybody remember I said I do a little bit of singing in my head when I'm shooting? That stops me thinking about the gas bill, right? You need something, you know what I mean, right? Stops that monkey on your back as well, you know what I mean? So, right. We've got these, like, we know how to mentally handle a competition day. We do one shot at a time. We're not letting previous or future experiences affect us. We're just plodding on. We are managing what we can manage, and what we can't, we disregard until Monday. Yeah? Right. So on the day, the practical stuff, right? And remember, if you don't get the practical stuff right, you're going to put strain on yourself, and you're going to come to the range all flustered. It's all about getting you on the range flatline, right? So you're ready to compete, right? So your rifle, weeks before, you check your rifle, you check the measurements, the weight, you chronograph it. I do it a couple of days before as well. Even if you know your rifle meets all the parameters and you beat it, the last 10 competitions, I check it again in case it's beat the McDonald's and put weight on. But I check it again just so I'm like pure of heart and I know I can put that gun on the table and I never have to worry about it, right? It sounds bizarre, but honestly, I see a lot of people stressing about will the gun pass the gun check. Do you know what I mean? So there you go. Arrive at the range in good time. Right? I always arrive about at least, it's very least an hour. I prefer about an hour and a half before. So several reasons. You get your gun out the car, you acclimatise it to the temperature that you're shooting at, and you're taking the ambience of the range. You know, if you can sneak a peek at other people's wind flags on the range to see what it's like, do so, and get yourself in a relaxed state of mind. If you're shooting first, that's gold. If you're shooting in the first detail, you can usually put your flags up half an hour before. You know what I mean? So they're there, and then you can take a little extra time to get yourself back centred again. It's less of a rush, right? So that is a golden opportunity if you're on the first detail. So take advantage of it. So fed and watered, right? This might sound really basic stuff, right? But you don't want to come to the range having accepted the challenge of an unlimited Premier Inn breakfast, right? And absolutely choked to the gills, right? It'll slow you down, it'll slow your brain down. You know what you can and can't eat. Make sure you just eat normally and you're alert and aware. Make sure you're not drinking too little so you're dehydrated, or too much so you need a pee during your relay, right? Honestly, this is really basic stuff, but the last thing you want to be doing is sat on a wing, is it? You know why you're doing your shooting. It's really basic stuff, but people do it.
Don't have a skinful the night before.
Yeah, but you shot well. His best ever shoot, right? He basically drank a pub dry of Guinness, right? And he looked like death next morning, didn't you?
Yeah.
Right? And he did have a little bit of a jippy tummy, according to the Portaloo. And he shot. So again, there are exceptions, right? But you're trying to load. You use an evidence-based decision to load things to your advantage. And I'll tell you something. If he got skinful 10 competitions, it might work once.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, too much. Sunday, I always go on a Sunday. I've got a better chance on a Sunday. He drinks like a 17-year-old. Honestly, he really does. So,
I feel like a 70-year-old.
yeah, that's absolutely it. So, today, we try to replicate competition conditions here. We want you on and off the range in half an hour, right? I know some of you won't be as au fait with your equipment because you haven't been using it yet, but we're going to try and do the half-hour thing, because if we don't put that element of challenge into the day, you're not going to learn anything, and you're going to come to a competition. And quite frankly, some people think the whole world's against them because they say, can you hurry up, can you hurry up, can you hurry up? And they're not. It's just, we've got 30, 40 shooters we've got to get through 3 times with the daylight hours that we've got. And especially when we come to the November event, you know, we've only got a few minutes spare either end, really. So it's not personal, it's the organised, it's how we have to organise things.
I think what's worth mentioning as well is buddy up, teamwork. If you've got someone who'll help you put your kit out, get them to do it. It's only going to help you in the long run. You're going to be less stressed, they're going to be less stressed when you help them.
Well, I have my flag monkeys, don't I? My wife, we joke, we call her the flag monkey because she runs out with the flags. And we've got Di helps me and other people. So when I turn up, because I can't carry things up, it's like pit crew, you know what I mean? And it's like, you know, and you have to encourage them, I shout, mush, when you're running out with the flags, or run Forest, you know what I mean? And I know I'm going to get, the day after, I know I'm going to get kidney punched off the wife for what I said on the Saturday and the Sunday. But again, if you have got a mate with you and you're on different details, you know, that is a good idea, buddy up.
Yeah.
But you can't really buddy up if they're on the same detail as you, because they've got their own journey, haven't they? You know what I mean? Right. Are we ready for the butties? Yeah. So anybody who's non-vegan, would you like to go and get a butty? Anybody who's vegan, well,
There's some cut rice out the back.
yeah.
Grab some cutlery and go down to the range.
So enjoy an Airability Sunday morning with a bacon butty. That's what I do.
Look at all those bacon sandwiches.
So the top 3, I think that's pretty much alright, isn't it? Yeah. Then we've got
Right, I'm out of the way then, Louis. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so if this was the competition, Dara will now start to indicate to me that you're ready. You found it. You're not under pressure to rush. Take your time. If you're having trouble finding your target, you stick your paw up your open hand sort of place. Richard's looking very calm. Katie, you good?
Yes,
You've got 10. Grant, you good? Colin, how's it looking for you?
Just getting
You're getting there
now.
fine. Lynn's using the electronic sound system that we use on the tour. It's with a similar message to what I gave you yesterday, but you'll hear, there's a little bit of a preamble. Shout, stop, stop, stop. You literally do that, you stop. If you see something on the range, an animal, a cat wanders onto the range, somebody wanders
Start and
into
stop will be on the whistle. Please remove your breech flags and insert your bolts. 10 minutes remaining.
So we are 2 cards into the shoot off at the end of the boot camp. So this is where the rookies get to put in their skills they've learnt over the last day or two. A couple of the helpers are having a little shoot amongst themselves as well. Me being a donkey, I've accidentally shot really close to one of my targets on the edge of the box, and of course it probed in, so I lost 7 points. It was an X on the target, but we won't talk about that.
You had to call me pocket. So, it was just really boring. You know. Right. Can I borrow this? I just want to try and get the results in front so I can see.
Good.
Good. Right. Are we ready, guys? We'll figure the pros out later.
It's a bit of a farce.
So, again, as I said right at the beginning of this, when we all sat here yesterday morning, I always forget the thank yous, and I'm going to have to get a thank you on video for Bentrest UK and ETS, Elemental Target Solutions. I dropped them off the end of the thank yous I videoed yesterday because you were on page 2 and I wasn't bright enough to press the button on my computer. Right, so I totally admit that.
Yeah,
right?
takes us for granted.
Takes you for granted, yes. So absolutely, you know, ETS Tom, as much airability as I am, he does all this stuff. Every year he turns up with gifts for people and help for people. And as I always say, the most, you know, and Kirsty's wife as well, the most valuable thing somebody can give is time. And he gives a lot of time to this and he helps me, right? Now, Bentrest UK, again, we wouldn't be here without them. We want to help Bentrest UK by getting new shooters into the sport. You know, they help clubs, you know, the benches, pay for benches and all sorts. And they drive a tour around the country of different events. And they have been with us right from the beginning. They supply the targets, you know, they supply the expertise, they supply the marking. They supplied us the best marker in the world at the back there, Chris Norris, allegedly. And Sonia, who's been adult supervision for the day, making sure he's all right. And we've got Richard and Graham, who are on the committee there. And without them, we just wouldn't be here, and we love to promote their tour. So I've got the thank yous on video now. I've got them all on. So that's what I wanted, because I am really grateful. And the fact I'm a bit of a muppet, you know, sometimes doesn't show that, but yeah, I love you guys. Anyway, right, on to the presentation. So it's the losers first, right, sorry, we all winners here, aren't we? Sorry, right, so remember we split into teams, and we had 2 teams of 10, yeah? And I'll be honest with you, it was quite close, but it wasn't close enough to kind of blame one person, if you know what I mean. Whoever lost was a team effort, right? But I know these people, and I've been talking to them all weekend, they've had a great time. And so, the second place with 5,431 points was the orange team. So would you like to come up?
Get your little medals out.
Smile.
Airability.
Ready?
There you go, thank you very much. Right, I'll need to figure out who the winners are. Hang on a minute. Right. With 5,517 points, it's the gold team. Would you like to come up and get your record? Are we going to have a quick photo for the winners?
That's fine, I'm fine.
Come in here. Are we all right?
Well done, team.
Well done, guys. Right. Well done.
So am I going to say something like, we're all winners here today? No. Right. Anyway, just to reiterate, the orange team scored 5,431 and the gold team scored 5,517. So
On the better t-shirt.
So, right. Right, so with some actually nice prizes to come, we're going to go for the top 3 individual people in the competition, and somebody's going to go away with this magical trophy. Like I said, I hope you're not on a moped. Right, so in 3rd place with 694 points is a late entry, Adrian Davies. So there is an Egon World subscription for you, a Bentrest UK membership, and a tube of H&M pellets.
Excellent.
There you go.
Well done. Well done.
There we go. Right. Right, with a score of 702, Grant Botha. And you get an Airgun World subscription, Benchrest UK membership, a Falcon hat, and a tube of pellet. Right. Oh. There's a theme here, isn't there, with the pools. Right. With a massive score of 713 points. Come on, Richard.
Moy, what's a big one?
Yeah, what a big one.
Make sure do it again, Sharon. Make sure that one's all right.
If it
That
comes,
way.
if it comes through the back of your car and kills you,
Yeah, yeah.
Get this stuck on the side of your vest.
Yes,
And he's forgot the best bit.
That is the best.
Again, BR UK membership, Airgun World subscription, pellets.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well
done.
So we've got quite a bit of stuff left on the table. We've got pellets, we've got a gun, we've got targets, we've got wind flags. Right, so I've been going around talking to people all weekend, and last time we ran this, there was a young shooter that we wanted to help, and we gave him a load of gear to get him on the pathway to shooting well with Benchrest. And you know, it was a really nice thing to do. But there was a bit of a problem this time. I met about 5 nice young people, you know what I mean, right? And they were all cool, and they were all interested in the shooting. So I had a talk with Falcon and Ratworks and that to see if they were happy. And Louis, would you like to come up and explain what we're going to do? So you run a Thursday night Benchrest club.
Yeah.
Which club is it?
Right, so we shoot, the people that came with me all shoot at the range in Marlow on a Thursday night. We run a 3-card Benchrest UK compressed competition through the light nights. So 13 or 14 people here all from that have all shot at that at one point or another. And we have a lot of young people, and it's been quite amazing in terms of how they were shooting just alongside us while we were shooting our 7 lanes, and that went from just mild inquiring as to what we're doing to, can we have a go? Would you like to have a go? To they're now stalwart members of the setup. We ran it all through sort of April, May time, just finishing because of the dark nights, and it's been hugely successful.
So you do that every Thursday night?
Every Thursday night,
So
every Thursday night.
What Airability and our sponsors like to do is donate everything that's on the table here, the rifle, the scope, and all the bits and bobs and the wind flags, to your Thursday night club.
Yep.
And if you look after it and let these young people take advantage of it,
So it means
we'd be over the moon.
that's brilliant.
Is that okay? Okay, so I'd just like to say we're all in together. Thank you, Ratworks. Thank you, Falcon Optical Systems. This is a top-notch Benchrest rifle. I even shot a card for them to show it works. And I hope you guys, enjoy the stuff and just make the best of it. And I'll dearly love to see some of you on the tour next year. Thanks very much. So we shoot the Nationals in November. The entries go online on the 8th of October at 8 o'clock, and I remembered that. And please go on the BenchrestUK.com website if you're interested. Entries do go fast. We'll all be there with our digital watches set ready to go. So get your entries in, and there's a rookie class which means that the rules, you can only win in the rookie class if your equipment doesn't fully meet the world rules, but you're welcome to come and win the rugby class and see how you score against the more established shooters. So again, we'd love to see you there, and that's at the Chippenham range. So, yeah, okay. Right guys, so to be honest, I think that's about it, and I would really like to thank you. I've had a lovely weekend, and I hope everyone can take a little bit of knowledge home with you.
Great job, Matt.
Oh, dear God!
Oh no!
You missed the biggest one, the biggest thing.
I've done it again. I forgot to say thank you to Crackshot. Because the winner, Richard, we all know Richard, and you can spot Richard. There's I will be forwarding you a £100 voucher for Crackshot as well.
Oh, wow.
So there you go. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Anything else? Tell me before I start, please.
Thank
So I've
you
got-
to the girls as well
Yes,
for doing the bacon sandwiches.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ken. Thank you. Right, British Shooting Show. I do enjoy the British Shooting Show, right? So Bentrest UK will have a stall at the British Shooting Show, and it'll be manned by the idiots here, and we will love to talk to anybody and everybody who's interested in Bentrest, and I hope we can spread the word and the love of the sport to other people. I sound like a cook there, don't I? But yeah. So anyway, see us at the British Shooting Show next year. That makes us really sound official, doesn't it?
Yeah, we made it.
We've got a stall now. So yeah, so there you go. And thanks guys for all the help, and Sharon too.
That's right.
He was a bit useless today. So basically, I'll let you
You're going to walk home, mate. I'll tell you.
You better go and give him a kiss
one
now.
last quick joke, right? So the idea is that Justin, Sharon went shopping today, and he said he was going to be Sharon for the day if I needed any help.
So I ignored him completely.
And the only bit was he kept going, do you need help in the toilet? I'm all right, mate. Yeah.
I don't know if you could get in the sink or not. So.
That's where I bat. That's where I have a bat. Right, guys, thank you. Take care.
Cheers.